Hey, happy Wednesday. Jack Tubbs from the J Team at Realty One in Surprise, Arizona, wishing you a fantastic day. Hope everything is going your way today. It is hump day. We're on the downside of the week. Oh, that's awesome. Looking forward to the weekend when we can go out and enjoy some of the beautiful weather that we have here in the Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, I want to continue on in my discussion about why we need, what the importance is, why we should never waive a home inspection. Now, we've gone over a lot of points already. We've talked about it as a negotiating tool, that it gives us an out should we find something majorly wrong with any of the mechanical systems or anything foundational, structural with the house, or maybe even some really high replacement cost things like maybe that entire house needs windows or a new roof or something that you're not able or not willing to pay for. It brings to we discover things like if there's been an illegal additions or maybe even a fire in the attic, that we get that inspection will turn those things up and give us a better idea of if this is a house that we want or not. For safety, we found out the house is safe, structurally sound, etc. It's safe, and for protection, because we also, when we find out things like mold can grow on a wall unseen, but it can still be a hazardous thing to you and your family. So, and home inspections also protect us from things like that. Today, I want to talk about, it can also help us understand what the future costs are of owning a home or owning the home that we're looking at, what they could be. Because if we find out that, hey, the roof has only got 2 more years on it, it gives us an idea, hey, if we get an estimate on what a new roof is going to cost, then we have an idea what future costs are going to be. If we're told that the HVA system has about 6 years left on it, we're going to know in about 6 years we're going to have to pay somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000 to have that replaced. And it might even be a little bit higher if it's six years in the future. But it gives us an idea of what our future costs are going to be, future repairs that are going to be needed. And it gives us an idea if it's something that we can afford in the future. So home inspections are very valuable in that aspect because it gives us an idea of what's coming up as far as costs and repairs in the future, if we can afford them, and also gives us an idea maybe we should start a saving plan for them so that we have the money when the time comes. Number 7, it determines deal breakers, and so many times it can be small things that are deal breakers. I can't tell you how many different real estate transactions I've negotiated, and it's come down to something like a $600 hot water heater, or the seller says, well, I'll give you a discount of $5,000, and the buyer is asking for $6,000, and there's just $1,000 separating them on, say, a $700,000 transaction. You know who usually takes that? I usually take that and say, look, you can deduct $1,000 from my commission because I want to see, I know that the buyer wants to buy and I know that the seller wants to sell, and usually it's because if I'm representing the seller, I know how much they want that house. If I feel it's a house that they could live without, then I won't volunteer that. But most of the time, when we get to the point where we're down to negotiations after a home inspection, I know after they spent the money for the home inspection and all these other things, and I can tell that they've started to make plans to move in. They're talking about where they're going to put the couch and where the TV's going to go. I know they want the house, and I will volunteer that if it comes to that. But also sometimes we find out things like, well, you know what? This wall in the basement here, it needs to be rebuilt, and that's going to be a $6,000 bill. And the seller said, no, I'm not going to pay for it. If you want to buy the house, you can pay for it. These are deal breakers. And a home inspection will bring forth the things that are deal breakers. It'll let us know the things that are really high cost that the buyer's not going to pay for and the seller's not going to pay for, and they're going to void out the transaction. That's why a home inspection is so important, because we find out these things, and it also lets us know after the home inspection we're not going any further. We're not going to wait or pay for an appraisal. We're not going to wait any longer. We know that we're not going to be able to close this transaction, and it's time to find another property. It's time to go out and look again, which in this kind of market is always tough because inventory is tight. But nonetheless, I would, well, I can't tell you how many times I begged a client not to pursue a home because we knew of the structural issues. I had one client that one whole side of the house, I mean, the floors were literally tilted this way towards one side of the house, and he liked the location and the house and everything else checked just about every box, but I knew there were foundation issues, and I knew that it was going to cost him thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to correct that foundation. So I said, please, Mike, don't buy this house. I said, I couldn't let you buy this house and still have a clean conscience. It's not about commission for me. It's about making sure that you have a house that suits your needs and that you're going to love and enjoy for years to come, that's going to bless your family for years to come. Yes, I do like to make the commission, but you know what? I will never feel good about selling somebody a home that they really don't want, that's not going to meet their needs or is going to cause them heartache and financial hardship in the future. So that's one of the things that a home inspection can also show me as an agent, and sometimes even when I'm on the listing side and when I'm on the selling side, it also points out to me maybe sometimes a client has not been 100% honest with me, or they may not even have known that there's an issue that was going to be that expensive to fix. And I've seen that happen too. I had a gentleman trying to sell a house, and then we had a inspection come back. They said there were structural issues in the basement. They had a structural engineer come in, and it was going to be something like a $28,000 fix. The buyers didn't want to buy, and the seller didn't know about it either, and he decided he was going to take the house off the market, and over the next couple of years he was going to effect the repair to the basement. So that's why a home inspection is so important, that you do not, and I've even had a client waive a home inspection, and then he found out that he had a bad septic system and a bad well, and it cost him all that money after he had already purchased the home to repair it later. And I begged him not to waive that inspection. Even though he was getting a great deal on the home through a foreclosure purchase, it still cost him another $18,000 above and beyond what he paid for the home to be able to get the home habitable again, because it didn't have a working well, nor did it have a working septic system. So please do not. That is how important a home inspection is to you. So I'll come back with you tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit more about the importance of a home inspection. This is Jack Tubbs from the J Team at Realty One in Surprise, Arizona. Once again, if you have any questions about home inspections, if you have any questions about real estate at all, feel free to reach out to me. My direct dial is 248-330-7972. That's 248-330-7972. Or you can email me at jack@thejteam.house. That's jack@thejteam, and the J Team is THE, the letter J, and the word team, TEAM, .house. Or you can call any of my team members at 623-252-4061. Hey, this is Jack Tubbs once again from the J Team at Realty One in Surprise, Arizona, saying have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.